Lisa and Kathy are here together again to share another project from the Quilters Travel Accessories trio. This video features the needle case, so join us as Kathy walks you through her step-by-step tutorial.
Hey everyone! Next up is the second project in our Quilters Travel
Accessories.
Accessories. We haven't figured out what we're really calling it yet, but
Right.
we're working on it. So maybe you can help us with that. All right, the needle case.
Okay. This is a needle book, has a mat board inside, and then wool for your needles.
Okay, so what's mat board?
Mat board is just a real heavy cardboard.
Like that comes like in your shirt or
It's heavier than that. It's what you use around picture frames.
Okay.
If you don't have mat board, you can buy it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, somewhere like that has framing. If you don't have that, I think we decided that cardboard that comes at the bottom of your layer cakes is pretty good. And so if you want to recycle some of that, that works great too.
Okay, all right.
Okay, this is very easy to construct. So in the pattern, you have the instructions to make one piece of flannel for the outside, and this doesn't have to be flannel. I just did flannel because I like it.
It matches all.
It matches everything. Then you'll need two pieces for the inside flaps.
Okay, so that's these things right here.
Right.
Okay.
So the first thing you'll do is cut your sewing machine out of the trace it with the fusible.
Yeah, so you would want to trace your fusible web. So you'd want to trace this. Do we?
I believe it shows it. Yeah, here it is.
So
Reversed.
in the pattern, we give you a reversed. So on your fusible web, you would trace this. You would cut it out just outside the drawn line, and then you would iron it to the wool, and then cut it out on the line like Kathy has this. So when it's done, it should match the front of the needle case here like this.
And these dimensions are correct for how to place it. So you would place this right on the front of your needle book, and then go ahead,
And use that as a guide.
Right.
So you peel the paper off the back, lift this up and say, oh, okay. So then you would just follow that. You can do it on a light box, or you can kind of just lift.
Or you can just measure, and I forget how far it is, but
Yeah.
like an inch and whatever.
Yep.
Okay. Then fuse that down, and then you would do your blanket stitch in black around it, and then embellish it. I used
M49.
Yeah, okay.
Number 12.
See, she would know.
Yep.
And you can do either, I did a feather stitch on this one and a fly stitch on that one. I think either one looks good.
And then look at how she threaded it like it was a real sewing machine.
And that's all in the instructions, how to make the little spool and the little needle guides and the needle and everything.
Yep, thread guides.
Right.
Thread guides, needle guides.
So you will go ahead and your front will look like this. You've got your sewing machine all appliqued down and embellished the way you want. Then take it and you'll put a piece of fusible interfacing on the back of that, and that just gives it a lot of weight. Makes it a
Anything
little
that you
stiffer.
can iron on.
Right. So fusible interfacing. I used the one you sell at the store. What is it? 911 FF or something like that.
We'll link that too as well as which one
Okay.
we use, because it's a nice stiffer one.
It really is.
Yep.
Okay. So you've got that. You've got your fusible on there. Then you'll take your two wool pieces and put a strip of fusible web. So your Heat and Bond Light or your soft fuse or steam-a-seam, whatever you have. And the purpose of this is two things. It holds it in place, and then it also keeps it from stretching when you sew this on the sewing machine.
Yeah, because it never does that.
Right.
Just you try so hard to get things straight, you draw
Right.
lines, you do
Yeah,
whatever, and
I
then
know.
you stitch it, and it's like wonky.
So these two pieces are your inside pockets. So they'll be like that. So you want to fold those down, and I think it tells you in there a 1/2 inch. fold those two in. Now, if you're using a directional print, you want to make sure that these are going the correct
same
way. So you'll make your folded edge here and just press it down. Then you'll take these fused wool pieces and you'll place them, and it's got a placement. They're not centered. They're farther in so that there's room for the magnet here on the outside.
Yeah, and you did put it on the right side too. So make sure that your direction, like these flaps, is the front top part, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
you want this to.
Yep. Because
goes down.
I would do it opposite.
Yeah.
Because I'd forget. Yeah.
Okay, so these will be fused down right there. So one on this side, one on this side. Okay.
Okay.
So I have a set done. Let me have that.
Top one.
Yep. So here's the front. Here are my two fused insides. And what I did here is after these are fused, I stitched them on the sewing machine at 1/4 of an inch, and then I went back and fly stitched over that just to embellish that seam. That's not necessary, but you know,
want to.
might as well make it pretty while you're at it.
Yep.
Okay, you're going to put this down on this side. Put this down on this side. Make sure that your wool pieces are going down so that they're the correct direction for when you look at the front. Your wool will be going this way, and the two folds should meet in the center.
Perfect.
Okay, then I would just pin that a little bit, and then you'll stitch it 1/4 an inch all the way around. Okay? Take that and turn it.
Do you clip anything?
You could clip the corners.
Okay.
It's probably a good idea.
All right.
So after you've sewn that around, you'll turn it inside out, or right side out rather.
Through the
folds. Through the folds. Do you want to sew this, or we can just demonstrate it?
Yeah, I think they got it.
Yeah. Okay.
All the way around. Then
Okay,
it looks
so
like
around.
that when you
Turn. Then I top stitched all the way around.
Okay. So she took a matching thread and top stitched all the way around.
Right.
Not in the middle.
And these two should just basically touch in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're going to put in our mat boards. So you'll cut two pieces of mat board, mark the center of each, and let's see, I had them like this, where I can read them. You'll take your magnets. These are the same magnets we used in the project roll. One of these silicone computer thingies. So you have your two magnets. Now, when you're using magnets, you have to remember magnets repel one way and attract the other way. So you want to put your magnets to where they'll attract each other. Okay? Because if you put them the other way, they'll push apart. Okay? So these are like that. Mark the outside of the magnets so that you know where to put your glue, because we're going to cut these apart.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. So we'll cut that off. Probably should have separated them before I did that. Now take some super glue, and this you can get super glue now with a brush.
Yeah, this
is
is
not
amazing.
the
I'm like,
best thing ever?
I'm gonna get me some of that. So we'll link this to.
It's like a fingernail polish brush. So just put a little bit of glue on the marked side of your magnets, and then you'll put them right next to that marked line.
Right on the edge.
Right on the edge. Okay, this glue takes a little bit to set up, like 10 to 45 seconds, I think it says. So while we're waiting for that to happen, I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of round the corners of this mat board a little bit, just so that they're not trying to poke through the edges
slide
there.
through easier,
yeah,
I bet.
Yeah.
Good idea.
So I'll have all 4 corners like that on both of them. So this is what my mat boards will look like once they've set up. So then you just slide one, so the magnet's going to the outside, slide it in here, slide this one in here, make sure they do their thing and attract, because if they don't, you're going to start over.
Got to turn it around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I took a little piece of fusible web and put it in here, like so. Fuse that down, and then fuse the pockets so that they just meet.
Okay.
And then, after they're fused, you just top stitch it on each side, and that forms the spine of your needle book. If you wanted, you could even zigzag this or do a decorative stitch.
Very cool.
Okay.
Nice, clean, finished nicely. Yep.
You just kind of have to push these mat boards out of the way while you're doing that. They're a little smaller than the flannel pocket.
So you won't hit them with the sewing machine?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to change your needle then.
No, I just use my regular.
On the cardboard, you need like a 90 or
Yeah.
100 needle.
So that's it.
Yes.
Then sew this down, and actually once they're fused, you wouldn't even have to sew them down probably if you really wanted to skip that step. But I think it makes a nice spine for the book.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
All right, another one done.